¿Qué pasó, güey? It's your homeboy Quetzalcoatl. Welcome back to the Fuck Your Life Boxing Show. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the fight that just took place between Andre Berto and Jesus Soto Karass. Showtime put on a great card tonight, from the opening fight down to the main event. In the first fight, you saw Keith Thurman, who had a well-deserved victory over Diego Chavez. Keith Thurman showed a lot of heart and determination in this fight, as you saw that Diego Chavez was having a lot of success in the early rounds, but Thurman was able to adjust and ended up stopping Chavez in the 10th round in a very impressive fashion. And with this victory, I believe that Keith Thurman deserves a big fight at welterweight. In the second fight, you saw Omar Figueroa in a Fight of the Year candidate versus Arikawa. The type of heart that Arikawa put on display was unbelievable, and I feel that both of those fights deserve to be talked about at full length in separate videos, which I probably will be doing tomorrow, but I just thought I had to mention them right now because they were great fights. In the main event, Berto was in a do-or-die situation. As you know, Berto was coming off of two bad losses versus Robert Guerrero, and prior to that versus Victor Ortiz. And while those were bad losses, Berto showed tremendous heart in those fights, and those were very exciting fights to watch. The Ortiz fight was a Fight of the Year candidate, and while the Guerrero fight was not, it was definitely an exciting fight to watch. Another thing that Berto was coming back from was also testing positive for steroids in what was supposed to be an Ortiz rematch, which fucked up his image. So Berto had to prove what type of fighter that he was in this fight. You know, he had been hyped up and packaged as a certain type of fighter, and Guerrero and Ortiz exposed that, you know, all these things that were being said weren't true. And an opponent like Jesus Soto Karass, who's a solid fighter but nowhere near an elite level fighter, this was a chance for Berto to be on his road to, to redemption, to have a career defining victory that he still has yet to have. And I mean, from the start of the fight, in the same fashion as with the fights versus Ortiz and Guerrero, you saw that Andre Berto was rocked in the first round. And I mean, once again, Andre Berto showed the flaws that he has. Andre Berto he has elite level skills in terms of offense. He has great speed. His speed is world class. He has very solid power compared to other welterweights. His power is world class. But when it comes to defense, Andre Berto has journeyman-like skills, and that's always been his Achilles heel. His flaws have always come from his defense and his chin. His chin is very questionable. He's been rocked on several different occasions, even in the Luis Collazo fight, in the fight that a lot of people thought that he lost. And again, while he was rocked in that fight, he showed the type of heart that he had. But you would think that someone with those type of defensive flaws and that type of chin would work on his defense so that he wouldn't be exposed like that. But that just hasn't been the case. And because of this, I think that Andre Berto's new nickname is the Bum Whisperer. You know how Cesar Millan is like the motherfucking dog whisperer and shit? You know, they call that motherfucker up, and he come and he train your dog and shit. That motherfucker be wild. Now he put that motherfucker in check. Andre Berto is the Bum Whisperer because when he fights bums, he put those motherfuckers in check. You know, he beats them easily. He looks spectacular. You know, he Cesar Millan them motherfuckers. But once he fights world-class opposition, I mean, he gets exposed. And Jesus Soto Karass is a notch below Ortiz and Guerrero. You know, at best, Soto Karass is probably a B-level fighter. And, I mean, Berto looked horrible in this fight. After the first round, he wasn't quite the same. Again, he showed tremendous heart in this fight. And that's something that I've always given credit to Berto for. And that's something that should be respected about him. That he does not quit. Even when it looks like he's going to quit, when it looks like he's going to get knocked out, he continues to fight on regardless of what the situation is. I mean, just like you saw in this fight when he injured his right shoulder. He continued to fight on. He didn't quit. And you saw his trainer trying to will him on. And I thought that Berto was going to get knocked out early. So I have a lot of respect for him for being able to carry on and fight the way that he did. But I really didn't see a round where Berto was dominant. I didn't. He was getting worked in this fight. But again, he showed a lot of heart. You even saw in the 11th round where, he almost had a comeback. He hit Jesus Soto Karass with a huge left hook to the body that hurt Soto Karass, and he went down. Now you saw later on Soto Karass was trying to say that was a low blow. If you watch that replay, that was right on the belt line. To me, that was a legal punch, and he deserves credit for that. The reason I say that Berto really didn't have a dominant round is that even in that round where he knocked him down, Soto Karass came back and started working his ass in that round. So it was really hard for me to see the way that the judges had this fight scored when you saw the score afterwards, where it was very close. To me, this wasn't a close fight. Andre Berto, he put on an exciting fight. Win or lose, he's always in exciting fights, and that's something that a lot of fans want to see. They want to see action, and Berto does that. But you saw in the 12th round, I think that the success that Berto had in the 11th round kind of got him motivated. I think he left himself a little bit too open. He started taking too many risks. And you saw that Soto Karass had ducked one of his punches. And as Berto was coming with a left hook to answer to that, Soto Karass came with his own left hook. And he caught Berto right on the button. And Berto, that motherfucker went down. He tried to get up. Y'all seen when he got up, he was all wobbly and shit. He looked like my nephew when he was first learning how to walk and shit. Berto had them motherfucking baby legs and shit. And the referee looked at him and he was like, "That's it, dog. You need some Gatorade. It's over." And damn, it's like I seriously think that Berto's career is done. As far as being a possible elite fighter, I think that's over. You saw at the end of the fight, he was slurring his words. He sounded like he was drunk as shit, and that's bad. That's something bad to see with any fighter. You don't want a fighter to have his health diminished like that. And Berto seriously needs some soul searching right now. He needs to really think about what type of career that he wants to have, from now on. I don't think that he should be matched up with any type of world-class fighter, because he's going to continue to be exposed. I think that he's probably washed up right now as in terms of fighting world-class opposition. If he still wants to make some sort of money before he retires, I don't think that there's any shame in fighting like on Showtime's like Friday cards, or fighting on ESPN's Friday Night Fights, or even Solo Boxel. He still has a marketable type name to where he can make some decent money being the bum whisperer. Fight some bums, Caesar Milan them motherfuckers, and make your money, and then do what you gotta do. Just like with Victor Ortiz. I don't know if Victor Ortiz is gonna be able to have another big victory, but just like with both fighters, they've made a decent amount of money to where they're in a far different financial situation than they were when they were growing up, and that should be commended and that should be respected. But in terms of making a legacy in boxing, both fighters need a lot of soul searching. And I don't know, tell me your opinion. A lot of people have been hating on Berto, and with me, the times where I've critiqued Berto have been in terms of the steroid test. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I've done videos on steroids, favoritism, and bias in boxing. I don't like none of that shit. You saw when fucking Margarito got caught with breaks in his motherfucking gloves. You saw a lot of Margarito fans when he fought Pacquiao and when he fought Cotto in the rematch, motherfuckers was acting like it was business as usual. When this motherfucker just got caught with bricks in his motherfucking gloves. What makes it even more shameful is that he didn't even fucking admit to it. Just like Berto's not admitting to the shit. So the times that I talked about him, when he lost to Guerrero, and I put his picture up and I was playing motherfucking Tears on My Pillow and shit, that was for the fanboys that were defending that shit. I don't like favoritism. I don't like fucking bias. Tell shit the way it fucking is. I never took away the type of heart that Berto had. Mad respect for his heart. But, things need to be told in a fair way. I respect anybody that gets on YouTube and puts their opinion out there for the internet to hear. I respect anybody that does that. But you have a lot of bias and favoritism going on right now, and that needs to be addressed, which I'll probably talk about in a later video. But I don't know what's up with Berto, man. I don't know, man. You need some Gatorade. But let me know what you thought of this fight. What did you think of the undercards? What do you think that Berto's career is going to go from here? Do you think that he can come back? As you saw, Soto Karass has several losses in his career, and he was able to come back, and he just had a huge victory. But the thing about that is that Soto Karass has a huge chin. And while he has defensive flaws just like Berto does, his chin allows him to come back in fights. Berto doesn't have that luxury. But we'll see. And as always, if you like this shit, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, fuck your life. And this is your homeboy Quetzalcoatl signing the fuck on out.